This is a small part of the Trump victory speech where Vivek was there. They're not kissing, girls. They're whispering to each other. Whispering sweet nothings. All right, now you can hear them chanting something there, something with an E sound. And when I first heard this, I didn't know what they were saying. I thought they were saying... They were saying VP, 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 which I don't disagree with. I could go for that. EP, EP, EP.
Yeah,
Trump,
right.
let us go home. We're too EP. And I will turn around and say, no, we have more winning to do. It sounds like something he'd say.
I'm very down for this collab, if you want to call it that. I'm very down
yeah,
for
I
this
do want to
collab.
call it that. It's funny to call it that.
Crossover episode.
Yes.
I'm down for this
ambitious
collab.
crossover episode. White House
I'm very
episode
down with
47.
I mean, that's where we're at, though. The politics has become entertainment. So yeah, I'm down with this collab.
You got an entertainer and a CEO as potentially the president, the vice. Honestly, I would far
two CEOs.
My interpretation is the whole point of president is that it can be anyone. So why the hell would you vote for a politician if you can vote for anyone?
Exactly. I think that this is great. And this is fantastic. From a libertarian monarchical perspective, this is based, and I like it. Well, I want Trump and Vivek to get along.
A very strong male figure leading the country from the executive position with another strong male to assist him, and both CEOs. It's about the closest that a republic gets to a monarchy, so I can understand why you'd like it.
Well, that's why Moldbug likes it. And I have the exact same perspective. Is that this is the Moldbugian perspective. Moldbug has always said that the CEO should be that the king should be the CEO. That's Trump. That's Vivek.
There are issues with that, but sure, I can see where you're coming from. Matthias says strong. We don't really know how strong Vivek is yet. He hasn't really been tested that much, but neither did we know how strong Trump was back in 2015. Turns out, very. And Vivek may be the same. We have yet to find out. But VP is a good position to test him, I think, especially if Trump actually makes him do stuff. Because the VP often doesn't.
I am without almost any doubt that Vivek will be 2028 president.
Well,
I think that's true.
In this clip, there's a little bit of audio. I'll just tell you what it says because it's 30 seconds to get to it. But a crowd chants VP, VP, VP after Vivek gets done speaking. Trump says he's going to be working with us for a long time.
Yep, I think Vivek's going to be the 2028 Republican nominee. I'm behind it. I really like Vivek. I'm always skeptical about everybody. I'm still skeptical about Vivek. But what I've seen from him has been really, really hopeful. Like, just the other day, the Babylon Bee made fun of him and saying that Trump would make him the manager of the White House 7-Eleven.
I have that one, yeah.
And he just laughed at it. He didn't get mad. There was a whole bunch of Republicans, Republican, actual people who matter, who were all upset about it. But Vivek laughed at it.
In terms of
pretty cool.
In terms of similarity to the politics that we here in Cabal hold. Except before Trump, the vast majority of US politicians on both sides could only get as far as about 10%, maybe 15% of the things that we believe in. Trump, right now, about 75%. Vivek's about 90%, as close, on all the things that we believe for the culture war. He's very, very close to us, closer than Trump. Trump is way closer than he was in 2016, and obviously we can trust that Trump will do what he says because he did a very good job before, and he was rigged out, so it's only fair as well. But if Vivek has half the competence in practice that Trump does, and if we can trust him, which is still a big if, then he'll be a great successor to Trump.
I agree 100%. And I agree with you in terms of belief system. Trump represents my beliefs less than Vivek does, if we're just going by what Vivek says. I align more with Vivek than I do with Trump.
The way Vivek talks about what he says, it would be very difficult to fake that, I think.
I sincerely hope that he's legitimate. If he is fake, then that's That's really, really going to be catastrophic.
I doubt the competence of our opponents in that they have enough competence to put someone forward who could fake it this well. So
what I've said about this. What I've said about this multiple times, and I was just talking about this with Spin earlier today, was the left doesn't need to lie. The left just does their shit because they're like, what do they do? Lie. They lie constantly, but they lie under these auspices of it's okay to lie. It's okay to lie and cheat and steal because our politics are so grandiose. They're so good in the long run. It doesn't matter what need happen to obtain the end result. So, and Republicans, and I've actually just Claudine Gay's research actually found this as well, is that Republicans are horrifyingly honest. So, for example, in Claudine Gay's research, Democrats only gave money to Democrat districts. Republicans gave money to wherever they felt that people needed it. This is the failure of Republicans.
Oh, it's been well known for a long time that Republicans are more generous.
But I think it's more that they're horrifyingly honest because we are, and I don't know Vivek's religion, but because most of us tend to be religious people, we tend to have a faith.
He talks a lot about that is part Christianity, at least.
I don't think Vivek is a Christian.
Hindu mythia. No, he's said very openly.
Is he a Christian?
I actually, do you know, in his last speech, he was talking a lot about God and faith, but I don't remember him specifically saying which religion or specifically mentioning Jesus.
Faith, but he didn't. That's what I heard him say, but I didn't hear him talk about Christ.
That's not,
and that's okay.
Whether he's Christian or not isn't something that would bother me, but he should at least say so. He should at least be honest with people.
Yeah, it does matter. However, what I think is that I don't really know what faith it is, but having a faith in a higher power and submitting to a higher power puts politicians inherently in a lesser state, right? And I think that's a good thing. So that you are beneath God, whatever you perceive God to be, Harry Thunderer or Cosmic Muffin, I don't really care. But people who think that they are above, that there is no God, those are the people who scare me. When they think that there is no God and therefore they can do whatever the fuck they want and that they are God, those are the people that scare me. And that's mostly the left. The right generally tends to not be that way.
Okay, so atheist with a big ego. Wow, I'm so great. Anyway.
No, I'm not shitting on you, Uzalu. You know I'm not, but it's the but you know what I mean is in that.
Am I
there's a problem with that?
Am I the honorary acceptably moral person?
No, I don't hate atheists. I was an atheist. It's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely morally fine position to hold. However, I'm skeptical of people who are not religious when they are conservative. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Just a little skeptical when they're politicians. Put it that way.
All right. So I'm going to see
if I have no idea what his actual faith is.
I'm going to see if I can find out.
I think he's a Hindu, but
2023, he said he was a Hindu. Vivek Ramaswamy asked, how can US accept Hindu president? Shit, I was mistaken. He's quoted the Bible.
There you go.
Vivek Ramaswamy takes questions about his Hinduism one Bible verse at a time. Now, he could certainly be the kind of guy who would say that...
Fucking around,
he could be the kind of guy who would say that he's Hindu, but likes the Bible. Like, I'm an atheist, but I recognize there is some value in the Bible. Still, though, he should be, I don't know, I mean, he is saying it here, but talking about my faith and then quoting the Bible, it really implies that he is Christian to people, and I don't want them to be misled. Republican voters eager to learn more about Vivek are, by the way, Torn, I'll pronounce it how I feel like, are especially curious about one thing, his religion. What is your opinion of Jesus Christ? An Iowan asked Ramaswamy at a campaign stop in Nevada when he explained that in his Hindu faith, Jesus is a son of God and not the son of God. The potential caucus goer followed up with another question about the fact that the only way to heaven is Jesus Christ. So again, like it's religion versus religion. I wouldn't usually be interested, but hey, at least he's being honest. At least in this case, Vivek was answered honestly and didn't try to bullshit around it.
It's just one of the reasons why I've come to think that, because when Vivek first hit this scene, I was like, this guy, I don't trust him at all. But he's been so honest about, like, he could have just lied.
Yeah.
He didn't lie. He said, well, I'm a Hindu, but I respect, the stuff about your faith. He could have just lied. to the American population. Because how many people are Hindus in America? 1%, 3%. It's a very small percentage. But he didn't lie.
Hinduism isn't very American, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. Hindus aren't really the problem these days. I wouldn't say that I prefer them.
No.
But they're not really the problem these days. So it could be worse. But I didn't know this actually about Vivek. Naturally, it doesn't matter much to me, but I think I would if all I had to go on was their religion, and I like them otherwise, I trust them more if they were Christian or atheist. Because if I only knew their religion, unfortunately, quite a lot of atheists today are unbearable. But if I already liked their opinions and they were atheists, that would be fine for me. And them being Christian would also be fine for me. Hindu is just a bit
Trump's
foreign.
An atheist, but
it's just I'm not saying he is, but it's not. It's not even that foreign makes it bad. It's that it's still not the same culture. It's at least it's going to be somewhat incompatible with the culture that he's trying to lead.
Shall we compare and contrast to Rishi Sunak?
I don't know that much about him, to be honest. He's kind of boring. But go on.
Well, he is boring, but Rishi Sunak is a hard lefty. Supports all of these left wing ideas.
I'm not sure he is,
as far as I understand. You don't think so?
I haven't seen, again, he's pretty boring. I haven't seen much from him, but I have seen a few things that indicate he's not. I mean, he was pro-Brexit when no one, there's no reason for him to be if he was leftist.
He's not pro-Brexit anymore, though, is he?
I don't know. I think so. He voted leave back in 2016.
I mean, he did vote leave back then, but I thought that he had changed his sort of perspective. Maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't hear that happened, but perhaps.
It's very likely that I'm incorrect about that. I pay less attention to British politics, even though I fucking live here, than I do to American politics, which is insane. So maybe I'm incorrect about that.
He does seem to be, as chat says, mostly an empty suit, but there was a few things he said that have actually positively surprised me.
Okay. I think that Vivek seems to be legitimate, and I didn't believe that until very recently. I have held out, and I've been extremely skeptical about Vivek until the last couple of months. I think he's legitimate. If he's legitimate about the things that he says, then he is a good candidate for president in 2028, and in absolutely the best candidate for Veep. And if you see that, go back to that clip with Trump and Vivek, it looks like maybe they agreed on it. I don't know.
So here's something interesting, though. I was watching a Vivek speech that he did a few days before the caucus happened. So like his last speech before the vote. And it was pretty good. He's good to listen to. I agree with most of what he says. And he said that he was asked a question, if you were offered VP by Trump, would you take it? Funnily enough, Vivek said, actually, I think he'd make a good VP for me, which I don't think is true. Yeah. Trump would never do that.
Well, but he was I think he was fucking around.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But what Vivek said is that I would be willing to do that, but I would have conditions. And I would then be wondering, well, I should have just done this myself rather than laying out all these conditions. And he described some conditions which sounded good. They sounded like things that, that according to Vivek anyway, that Trump was not at least clearly in favor of. And if Vivek is going to be VP, then it's probably just going to make Trump's positions even better. Not just a little bit either, because I believe Vivek would actually push for these. If he has been accepted as VP, it's not just good news because Vivek will be VP. It's good news because Vivek has probably managed to convince Trump to go along with these things that Vivek wants. Now, the position of VP is there's two reasons it's ever used. One is to provide broader appeal. So Trump in 2016 was a bit of a risk, so they put Pence in there because he wasn't a bit of a risk. And it turned out...
Because he was a rhino.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a transitionary period that it's kind of to bring in
different
the old guard.
Very different time.
The other thing that a VP can do is a threat. And that's what Kamala Harris is. That's why she's so fucking awful. Thank you for posting the picture,
Kamala
Mr.
Harris
Numbers.
is literally a threat. If Joe Biden dies...
If you assassinate Joe Biden, you get this one instead. And... the only person I can think of on the right in the Republican Party these days who is more steadfast on this stuff, more radical than Trump is Vivek.
Yep. Did you hear his speech? It's fantastic.
Yes.
They actually cut him off because they cut it. Fox News cut his speech off because it was too based. I'm not joking. Do you know this? Fox News cut Vivek's speech off. Now, I think maybe they cut away because they thought he stopped speaking. That might have been the case. That might have been the case as to why Fox News stopped this. But
still exist. This man is going to be your next president to revive them. E pluribus unum. From many, one. And you know how we're doing it? We're doing it by speaking the truth at every step of the way. There are two genders in this country. Period. That is the truth.
Starts with an easy one. Starts with an easy truth, Boo.
And easy, it keeps going.
He's going to get...
It keeps going. I think I know which one Fox is going to cut about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy.
Nuclear energy isn't a fossil fuel. I agree with him, but on the fossil fuels question, as much as there's reasons to dislike the use of fossil fuels, it is completely stupid to stop. Unless you have something that's better, stopping in the West is useless because China's still doing it. So what we need to do is power forward to better technology that can reverse it, even if we are making the problem worse in the present. But mostly the solution is nuclear because it solves both problems at the same time. Anyway.
Exactly.
Reverse racism is racism. And
we've been saying this for 10 years. It took that long for a politician to get into a position of power, almost a position of power, that's saying the same thing. But hey, it's almost happened now.
This is based. Yeah. The things he's saying are like, holy shit, he's dropping fucking hardcore pills.
And look, he's saying it with Trump right there. It's tacitly endorsing.
Yeah.
So this is good stuff.
Nodding along. Yeah.
I was impressed with Trump's changes since 2016 and how he's got even more based on some topics. Vivek is actually a bit more radical than Trump is, and Trump's right there with him. So I'm very happy about this.
I love it. I'm all on. I was very skeptical of Vivek at first, but now I'm all on board Vivek 2028.
I still want to see more. I still want to see him in action, but I am optimistic.
That's what I want to see. Yep, exactly. I got to see him, but tentatively, I'm on board with Vivek.
Open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
That one is a bit more questionable.
Nope. It's as a monarchist, Spoon and I were like, yay on that one. Because he's just describing the monarchistic perspective.
I'm not sure about that. I had a misconception about what the nuclear family means. But I was informed, and chat, tell me if I've double misunderstood this. I was informed that the nuclear family does not describe a normal family structure. It describes a mother, father, and children as isolated from the extended family. And I think that's a bad idea. I think you need the extended family as well.
Idea, yes.
So if nuclear family is that isolated unit, it's better than nothing. It's better than no family at all, but it's incomplete. You need the full deal. You need an entire community. You need the parents to do it primarily, but you need the entire community there. And having the community be your family it's very obvious, very natural. It works. It's been working for a very long time. And the fact that life has changed a bit these days and we can all communicate much more easily without being near each other, and there are reasons to move about the country wherever you are, doesn't change the fact that it's still better for kids to grow up with the full extended family around them.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. That's it. I don't know what he meant by that, but if he meant what you meant, then I agree with Vivek 100%. That it can't just be like, first of all, I am very in favor of the nuclear family in terms of mother and father and children. That's very important to keep that family unit contained as much as is possible. Now, if the father or the mother is abusive, sincerely abusive, we can talk about that. But in the vast majority of cases, divorce is not based on abuse. It's based on all kinds of other factors. So I think that it's very important to keep the nuclear family together as much as possible. And I really like that Vivek said that. I don't know what he meant by it in terms of did he mean including grandparents, because that is also very important in my opinion. I agree with you 100%, but I liked that statement.
I think I know what he means. Go on, Motch.
Given how much, like, the online right, especially in the more sort of vaguely mainstream sphere where he sits, has been speaking out about the whole, like, basically the whole surrogacy and buying a child thing. I imagine it was sort of a signal to that cause.
Yeah.
I expect so,
Oh,
yeah.
probably. I didn't think about that much, but probably, yeah.
I think he means the obvious thing. It's just that so did I, and I just didn't realize that nuclear family came with a bit of extra baggage as a term.
Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history.
I'm
certain about that.
What does he mean by the fourth? I agree. I mean, it's a fantastic speech. What does he mean by there's 3 parts of the U.S. government, not 4?
I think.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Spoon thought he meant BlackRock and Vanguard.
I suppose it could be that too. Like the banking sector in general. It could be that. Either way, it's 3, not 4 or 5 or 6 or any other number.
Yes.
3, I assume, being the executive, the House and Senate, and then the Supreme Court. I assume that's what he means by the 3. Yeah.
House, Senate, Supreme Court. It's executive, the executive, the elective, and the Supreme Court. Yeah. So the Senate and the and Congress are 2 parts of 1 part.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good point. Congress is the word for both of them, isn't
it? Mm-hmm. Congress and House of Reps. The executive, representative, and the Supreme Court are the 3 parts of government.
Yeah, as Achilles says, executive, legislative, and judiciary. Yeah, that makes sense.
Legislative, yeah. So what's the 3rd? I don't know what he meant by this. I think he meant probably, in my opinion, I think he meant the journalistic, the press, right? I think he meant? But I don't know.
I suppose so, yeah.
That is the truth. We fight for the truth.
Joining us now is Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor.
Okay, so I thought that Vivek had said before the cut and that the election was rigged, and that's maybe why Fox would have cut it.
No, but again, I don't know why they cut it here. I think maybe they thought he was done speaking. He did continue speaking.
I don't think they did think that, because clearly the speech was still going on.
Yeah.
But they probably had experts there waiting to go, and I mean, Fox News may not have known the structure that the talk in front of them was going to take. So they just tried to find a gap. Given the benefit of the doubt there, it may not have been that good. So I'm just going to show you Vivek's part because it's good. The Trump part is also good, but we've seen that quite a lot before. So there's less new stuff to discuss there. The Vivek part of the speech is about 7 minutes. So I don't think we'll watch the whole thing, but we'll watch some of it. Just give you an idea, because this could be the big man in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll show you what Trump said about him. Remember, by the way, what Trump said just a few days ago? That you can't trust Vivek. Yeah, exactly.
And now he's all on board with them. I don't know what happened there. I'm very confused by this.
I think it was
because Trump on Truth Social was talking all kinds of shit about Vivek.
It's very possible that it was
after this.
It was
political.
Well, like playing the game. Like Trump probably was reluctant to criticize Vivek because he knew that Vivek was kind of on side, and Vivek, to his great credit, responded in exactly the way one should. By saying like that he's always supported Trump, he's done plenty to support Trump, he regrets the animosity, not retaliating, just continuing to be honest and honorable with it. So that was very good. And maybe that response endeared him to Trump.
Well, Trump has a lot of reasons to distrust everyone, obviously.
I suppose so, yeah.
So I think he distrusted Vivek. I don't know if he still does anymore. I actually don't think he does anymore. Maybe he does still.
Yeah. Meat Bun says Trump was just checking Vivek, which is very possible. Yeah. It may be that Trump implies that Vivek is off the list to be VP, and then Vivek says, "Oh well, fuck it then. I'll just go nuts and demonstrate my untrustworthiness."
Well, he's dropped out.
But instead, Vivek, yes, 1, drops out of the race, but 2, says, "That's a shame. I really liked Trump." And then Trump's like, "Oh, okay, you passed the test. Well done."
But I was a friend of his and we got along, and he was saying he's a great president. I kept saying, why is he running? He keeps calling me a great president.
Good question.
But he's a fantastic guy, a very smart guy. He's got some tremendous ideas, and he's young and he's got some young ideas too, and that's a good thing. So he has a big, beautiful, bright future ahead. Vivek Ramaswamy. Come on up, Vivek.
Kind of weird for Trump to be even saying the name of someone with a foreign name while he's doing what he's doing.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Like you would expect.
It is weird, right?
Not because of any kind of like racial alignment, but just because of ideological alignment and where it happens to align with race. It's weird for Trump to be doing that.
Yeah, race doesn't matter here. It's about the fact that Vivek is a good candidate.
On an individual level, race doesn't matter almost at all. But I won't deny it matters on a collective level to some extent.
Well, it does. It does. Claudine Gay's own research shows this. That white people vote for white people, Latinos vote for Latinos, Black people vote for Blacks. She found this in her research, and then she got upset about it. She was upset, which was hilarious, that she got upset that her own research found what she didn't want. She thought like Black people would vote for the all kinds of people. No, everyone just votes for their race. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. That's why you have to have someone like Vivek be the Veep. Just saying. That's why you have to put someone like Kamala Harris as the Veep. Okay? Why the fuck do you think that Biden, an unelectable man who did not win 2020, chose Kamala Harris, who ticked every box? Woman, and she's brown, but she's also indigenous, and she's also Indian, and he can check every freaking box on this woman.
Look, never mind that she was wildly unpopular.
The most unpopular Democrat in all of her elections. No one ever has voted for her, ever.
She had, I believe she had 1% in the Democrat race.
Yep.
1%.
Yep. 1%.
In the Democrat
no
race,
one likes her. No, in the Democrat race. No one likes her.
Oh, wait, was that a kiss? Did they just have a little snoggeroony there? Oh, God.
Yes, they did. It's the most Roman Senate thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Let's just go ahead and keep this.
Let's do this, guys. It's good to see you. It's good to be back to New Hampshire. We miss you guys. We're going to make this happen, and you guys know this well. You know this man. You know why we're here. Patriots across the state. We are in the middle of a war in this country. That's what this is. It's not a war between black and white. It's not between Democrat and Republican, even in a deeper sense. It's between the permanent state and the everyday citizen, between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And right now we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in this war. That's what we need in this country. You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that? And that's why I was in this race, but I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That we, the people, choose who leads this country. And so we heard we, the people, last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here. We met in person, and I told him that I would endorse Donald J. Trump for president of the United States and do everything in my power to lead us to victory in this war.
We are now once again.
It is a 1776 moment right now. That's where we live right now. And you want to know, what does it mean to be a Republican today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like freedom and merit and the pursuit of excellence, that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. End affirmative action, end DEI. We are done with the nonsense. Send it back home.
Wow,
It means you believe in the rule of law.
just saying that's it's a really strong statement. End affirmative action and DEI.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good statement, but man, he's I get so mad at him for that.
It's good stuff.
That's all.
Yeah. No, he's saying the right things. He's saying I think he is actually a better orator than Trump. But I say orator specifically as to accept Trump's very practical, personable, down to earth speaking style, which I would not necessarily. I'd not necessarily count as oratory. I wouldn't use the word oratory for the way Trump talks. Vivek is a much better orator. But Trump's speaking style is still very good as well.
Yes, he's a better politician than Trump. I would agree to that 100%.
He's rhetorically good at being a politician, but he's not holding his punches like a politician does. He's not skirting the truth. He's not playing the game like the politician does. He's coming at this like what a politician should be. It's been so long since we've been used to the idea of politicians being this, but I believe it has been true and can be again, that politicians actually do represent the people. In this case, it seems like he does. It seems like he can do the politician stuff. He can do the diplomacy, the rhetoric, and being part of the political contest, but he's also honest and honorable and cares what the people think, which is probably rare throughout all of history. But it can happen.
Let's hope he's real.
And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law, and that is why we need to use our military to secure our own southern border in this country. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. Means the people we elect to run the government needs to be the ones who actually run the government, not the shadow government in the deep state that runs the show today. This man is going to get in there this time around and actually shut down that deep state, not mess.
How many prominent politicians were talking about the deep state honestly 10 years ago?
None of them.
Even Trump, I don't know if he was even talking about it in 2016. In 2020 he was. But I don't think he was in 2016. I don't know if he used those words. Things do change, Joe.
Around this time anymore. That's how we win this war in this country. And the way we're actually going to do this in the long run and win this time around is with elections we need to secure in this country for the long run. You want to know what needs to happen in this country? Single day voting on election day as a national holiday, with paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file.
100%. It's all exactly what we've been talking about.
All we've been saying,
One of my strongest opinions is that elections should be done by paper ballot, not ever digital ballot. And possibly that's because, as a programmer, I understand computers fairly well to know that you just can't secure that system. In practice, it will never be secure. But paper is not completely secure, but it's a lot better because the rules you're depending on are the laws of physics, which are subject to no man. The laws you're depending on with computerized ballots are the laws of the code that was written for the program, and the instructions in the processor and the fucking flow of the bits and the whatever rates you use for the measuring what the bits are. There's so many layers of abstraction where something could go wrong. Could it be done properly? Absolutely. Will it? Can you rely on it being done properly? No. No one can tell if it's being done properly.
I know.
You could put the numbers into a voting machine and it could come up looking correct and then be totally different somewhere else, and no one would ever be able to determine it unless there's a backup method of recording it, which, funnily enough, would be via paper.
Yeah,
I don't like paper for any other purpose, but this matters.
Yes, I agree. This does matter. This matters. If voting matters, then it has to be physical voting. It can't be this online stuff, because otherwise people just cheat. I mean, it leaves the field wide open for fraud. Let's be honest.
What's more, as Vivek said, and I agree with this, I've heard this said before, and I agreed with it then as well, and I'm not American, so I can't impose this, but I recommend national holiday for the entire day of voting.
Yeah, I agree. National holiday, off work, so that you can vote.
Sure. I mean, what I'm recommending here for the US applies to the UK too. I would recommend that for the voting day in every developed country, voting day is a national holiday, and more than a national holiday, I have recommended the idea that it be somewhat of a festival as well, that the place of voting have somewhat of a community event going. I'm not sure, you wouldn't be able to enforce this, but as a matter of convention, a community event where the voting process itself is shown very publicly. Obviously, when you actually put in your ballot, when you write who you're voting for, that's anonymous, but the putting in of the ballot and also the counting of the ballots is all done on the same day, hopefully while still it's light outside, or at least while there's lighting at the event, very publicly, where everyone can see it, and it's a big event.